By a show of hands, how many people have ever woken up in the middle of the night and wasn't able to move, talk, or even scream? I'm sorry. This feeling is diagnosed as a sleep disorder called sleep paralysis. And about 3 million people in the US alone suffer from sleep paralysis each year, and that is about 10% of the population. I personally haven't experienced sleep paralysis myself, but I've heard some friends who have, and I've had them tell me their experiences, and it can literally make me like shiver because I'm so scared of actually having that happen to me. Not many people who have experienced sleep paralysis know very much about it themselves, and a lot of people who haven't experienced it, or a lot of people who have experienced it, just think that they just woke up and weren't able to move. So let me help you guys dive into why sleep paralysis happens, when it happens, and the feelings and other things that come along with it. So why it happens. Sleep paralysis is a very common sleep disorder, and a lot of times people just think, like I said, they just wake up and they're not able to move, but they don't understand why it actually happens. About 50% of people in their lifetimes will experience at least one sleep paralysis episode, and there are a very unlucky few, which is about 8% of those 50%, who have recurring episodes. Has anyone in here ever have it happen more than once? Okay. So, it's not a gender thing, so it affects both males and females equally. And it can often show up as early as 14 years old to 17 years old, and it most commonly happens between the ages of 20 and 40. Sleep paralysis, the causes of sleep paralysis come from the lack of sleep, possibly a changing sleep schedule, a sleep disorder such as narcolepsy and other common sleep disorders, the use of medications, it could be a side effect, and possibly substance abuse. Dr. Brewis is a doctor who specializes in sleep technicians, and he says research in sleep paralysis could suggest family links to sleep paralysis, as well as research indicating stress, trauma, and depression. So now let's go into when it happens. Sleep paralysis can happen both when falling asleep and waking up. When you're falling asleep, it's called predominal. It can happen when you're falling asleep, and that's called predormital sleep paralysis. And this is when your brain finally tells your body to shut off all the muscles. And when this happens, you're about ready to go to sleep. Let's say you have to go to the bathroom, maybe you're thirsty and get a drink of water. You yourself become aware, but your body's obviously turned off. So when you try and grab your water or try and get up, you can't. The other part is when you're waking up. This is most common of the two, and this is when your REM cycles, you're going through your final stages of REM, and you just become aware, and your muscles are just turned off. This is when you wake up and say you get a drink of water, have to get up. You try, and nothing can happen. A quote from WebMD explains why this happens. It says one cycle of REM, and REM is rapid eye movement, and NREM is non-rapid eye movement. One cycle of REM and NREM lasts about 90 minutes. NREM occurs first and takes up about 75% of your sleep. During NREM, your body restores itself and turns off your muscles, or it relaxes your muscles. After NREM, you shift into a rapid eye movement, and this is where you dream, and your body fully turns it off just so you aren't acting out your dreams. And if you become aware during this time, like I said, you wake up, and your body is still turned off, and you try and get up, and it doesn't happen. So now we'll go into the feelings and other things that come along with it. Hallucinations can happen, and trouble breathing also may happen. Hallucinations are one thing that I love hearing because it's interesting as like an audience to hear. Some people say they hear a shadow man, or they see a shadow man like in the doorway, or they can even possibly see ghosts of family members or stuff like that, and even aliens. I have a friend who told me their experience, and I'm going to share it with you guys. She woke up from her sleep, and she tried to get up, and she couldn't move. Her eyes were pacing around because she was so scared that she didn't know what was happening, and she looked in the doorway and saw a shadow man. And the shadow man started coming closer and closer, and she just was so scared that she literally brought herself out of sleep and got up in bed. And a lot of people feel like they wake up dead whenever they wake up because of the inability to, say, sleep or move, talk or move. And personally, that would terrify me. And in conclusion, sleep paralysis is a common sleep disorder that is very strange. You can get help from sleep professionals, and if you happen to wake up and not be able to move, know that it won't kill you. But I'm not able to say about the shadow man in the doorway. Thank you.